This is Pokemon Emerald Yet's Speed Choice, a ROM hack that can bring most of gen mechanics and quality of life features to the original game, like updated abilities, the physical and special split, multiple use TMs, and the fairy typing without changing it that much. Today, I'm going to try and see how easily Mega Blastoise can beat Pokemon Emerald with those updated mechanics. Things start off awkwardly, as Mega Blastoise has a difficult time dealing with Maze Trico. It would usually be an easy fight for everyone, but due to the updated level up movesets in this game, her starter has access to a stab move, which in Trico's case means that it gets absorbed right off the bat. Besides Tackle, Blastoise only has Water Gun, so you can see why it's such a difficult fight to start the run, especially if you're as stubborn as me and try to do it without fighting any wild Pokemon. I eventually managed to get past it, but only due to using Leer as much as I could instead of just spamming Tackle, alongside getting a crit for a one-shot. Let's hope that this isn't a sign for things to come. While I make my way to Roxanne, let's explain some of the rules for this challenge. The first is that I'll try to keep the number of battles at a bare minimum, fighting trainers only when they are mandatory. This ROM hack has a function to make trainers fight you only if you talk to them, so if you see me running past a trainer that's not necessary to fight, it's most probably because of that. The second rule is that absolutely no items will be allowed during battle, including Hell items. Blastoise needs the Blastoisinite to Mega Evolve, so he's unable to hold any other item for this challenge. Finally, the obvious one is that I cannot use any other Pokemon during battle except Mega Blastoise. I'll get some Pokemon for HMs, but they'll never be used for other purposes. Anyways, I fought every trainer that was mandatory before challenging Roxanne, and as you would expect, it was a complete sweep. Even her Nosepass, who is not double weak to water moves and is actually pretty bulky, got two-shot by a Water Gun from Mega Blastoise. It also helped that my first attack got her to just enough HP that it was a two-shot, while also not triggering her berry, but even if it did that, Blastoise wasn't in any danger. Moving on from that fight, the next important one was against Broly, and the fight didn't go that well. It was easy to deal with his Machop and Meditite, even getting him to waste his potions. The problem was that Makuhita didn't take that much damage from Bubble while hitting super hard with Vital Throw after setting up a Pull Cup. If he didn't have a berry, I might have been able to win with a crit, but as it stands, I don't think I'll be able to beat him at this level. It doesn't matter though, as I can just skip the Broly fight and instead give Steven his letter, which opens up the way to Slateport City and a bunch of trainers that I can challenge for experience. I beat all of them, raising Mega Blastoise level by 5, and even though I wasn't able to make Broly use all of his potions on Meditite like last time, Bubble got strong enough that even when taking into account his berry, it was able to get a 3-shot. Since I've already cleared the way, next is the second fight against the rival May, and something that I didn't mention before was that while fighting the random trainers, Blastoise learned Bite, so now he had a pretty strong neutral move to use against Pokemon that resist water, like for example, Macewingle or Grovyle. So even when she was using Absorb, even though she had Mega Drain, Mega Blastoise was able to easily win. By defeating May, Blastoise gets to level 21, where he tries to learn Rapid Spin. Before Gen 8, it was a really weak normal type move that only got rid of entry hazards like Spikes or Stealth Rock. But in that generation, not only did it get a buff in its base power, going from 20 to 50, but it also got the added ability to raise the user's speed, which no doubt is going to be useful for the future. While I make my way to Watson, a fight that has me pretty scared by the way, let's talk about the differences between regular Blastoise and Mega Blastoise. The obvious one is the increase in stats. Mega Blastoise gets a bit more points in both of his defenses and his physical attack, but the main one is the increase in his special attack, getting a whole 50 extra points, going from 85 to 135. It's pretty impressive, but I wish he would have gotten more speed, or at least even a bit more bulk. Finally, for the ability, it changes from Torrent, which boosts the damage from his water moves when on low HP, to Mega Launcher, which boosts the damage from Pulse and Aura moves. Whatever that means. Now, you might think that an ability with the name Mega Launcher would boost the damage of attacks like Flash Cannon, Water Gun, or Bullet Seed. But no. It only gives a boost to a total of 7 moves, with 5 of them being able to be learned by Blastoise. But here's the funny thing, one of them is from Gen 9, so it's not in this game. and 3 are either from TMs that are not in this game or egg moves, leaving Mega Blastoise able to learn only one move that makes use of his ability, and it's Water Pulse, a move that when boosted by Mega Launcher goes from 60 base power to 90. If that base power seems familiar, that's because it's the same as Surf. So, to recap on Mega Launcher, it only gives a boost to Water Pulse, which makes it do the same damage as Surf while having a chance to confuse the opponent. I am actually getting angry while talking about this ability, so let's move on to something that will surely calm me down. The Watson fight. Bubble turned out to be an easy 2-shot against both Voltorb and Electrike, so it was pretty easy to get to Manectric, especially since they didn't do much to Blastoise. Against him, however, things were different. Bubble didn't do much while his shockwaves easily 2-shot me. It didn't help that he outsped me, but since I have rapid spin, maybe I could try for some flinch strats with Bite. I gave it a couple of tries, but now the problem is that Manectric goes for Thunder Wave at the start. I never got a flinch or a crit, but I could see that not getting them wasn't the issue. I really hate to do this, but there's only one more thing I can do that doesn't involve fighting to get more levels. I go to the casino and get the TM for Ice Beam. I know, you wouldn't normally be able to get this at this point without gambling for hours, but there's nothing else that I can think of that would give me better odds against Watson. I replace Withdraw, and since it's stronger than Bubble, it should make it easier to KO Manectric. I get back to Manectric after a ton more attempts, and for some reason, in one of them he went for Howl, even though that doesn't do anything for Shockwave. That meant that I managed to beat him at close to half of Mega Blastoise HP. Magneton came out, and his Shockwave was barely not enough to finish off Blastoise. I land the Bubble, and it's not enough. Even when I got a crit, it only brought him to the red. He healed, and I managed to land a second one, but it didn't matter. It looks like there's no other choice. I'll have to fight a trainer to get stronger. I could use the rare candy that's available with the Magpike on Granite Cave, but the problem is that a single level won't be enough, because what I need is to get past Manectric more reliably, and one level isn't going to make that much of a difference. I look up, and the trainer that I think gives the most experience is the fisherman south of Mobile City. So I challenge him, and oh my god, it's barely not enough to level up. Like, look! I only need 10 more experience to level up. I know that it's not going to make a difference barely not getting to level 25, so I'm just going to fight one more trainer and then give the rare candy to Blastoise. I decided to fight the first trainer instead of the Trick House, who, even though gives close to no experience, if I ever need to get that rare candy, that's one less fight that I'll have to do. After many more attempts, ignore the number on screen, I forgot to change the counter I was using, Ice Beam was able to one-shot both Voltorb and Electrike. When I went against Manectric, things were looking pretty much the same as in the first attempt. What changed though was that for the first time I got the freeze. It still took me a couple of hits to defeat him, but I went into Magneton this time much healthier and not paralyzed. When he came out, I wasn't sure of the damage from Bubble, so I went for Bite, hoping to get a flinch. I don't get it, and instead get hit by a Thunder Wave. I then go for Bubble as he hits with Shockwave, and it leaves him on the red, so Blastoise loses. I should have gone for 2 Bubbles instead. I'll keep trying a couple more times, but things are not looking good. Literally 2 attempts later, I get the freeze on Manectric again. It was also at the same point as the last one, so I pretty much got a reset on that attempt. When Watson sends Magneton, I know what I need to do. I go for Bubble at the start, getting Magneton to half as he goes for the paralysis. He still goes for a strong Shockwave, but Mega Blastoise pulls through and manages to hit with Bubble, finally putting an end to this frustrating fight. I wish I could say that it was a satisfying way to end the fight, but having to rely so heavily on Ice Beam just doesn't sit well with me. I'll just have to deal with it and move on, because from doing the regular Blastoise run, I know that this isn't going to be the only wall that I'm going to face, especially when I cannot rely on Hell items to help me. The next part of the story is the fight against Team Magma, but before that, in Fall Arbor Town, there's the move reminder. I could trade a hard skill and teach Mega Blastoise again any move that I deleted, which might seem like a small thing that I shouldn't even bother to mention, but I could also teach him moves that he might have missed at level 1. And there's actually one. Flash Cannon. God, I wish it was a move that got boosted by Mega Launcher. It's a Steel type 80 base power special move. Steel isn't the best type offensively, only hitting Rock and Ice for super effective damage, so I'm not sure how useful it can be when Blastoise also get access to Earthquake and Brick Break. Also, I know I could teach him Return right now, but as an added rule, I decided not to teach him any move that almost every Pokemon can learn, like Toxic, Double Team, or Rest. They just make every solo run look the same, so I think it's better if I just don't use them. The Matsify was after, and Ice Beam destroyed my Diana. However, what's really important is that by defeating him, Mega Blastoise reaches level 29 and tries to learn Water Pulse, finally making his ability useful. The fight got a bit close after that, since I was confused and hit myself twice while Camerupt went for 2 Amnesias. But even while being at +4 special defense, he wasn't able to survive a single Water Pulse. Zubat then was obviously a one-shot. Flannery is next, and I couldn't have foreseen what happened. Every single one of her Pokemon got one-shot by Water Pulse. Even Torkoal, who is known to be extremely tanky, fell to a single attack. Against Norman, I started by immediately defeating Spinda with Water Pulse. Get used to me saying the name of that move, by the way, because it's going to get used a lot. Against Slacking, I went for the same move, but not before he hit me with a Facade that did decent damage, while my attack did about half. I didn't want to risk him healing, so I went for Rapid Spin, triggering his parry while he was unable to move due to Truant. And unfortunately, Water Pulse got Slacking to the red while his Facade now got me low on HP. Thankfully, Water Pulse was able to get a 2-shot after he healed with the help of a crit, so no damage was done. After that, both Vigoroth and Linoone were one-shot with, you guessed it, Water Pulse. With the Fitch patch acquired, I also get access to Surf. I would replace Water Pulse for it on a regular run, but except for 2 fights, going with Water Pulse instead is just a better option thanks to the Confusion chance and the Mega Launcher boost. Still cannot believe it doesn't boost any other move. Anyways, with the HM, I make my way to the next gym to challenge it immediately, defeating Team Aqua on the Weather Institute and the rival on the way. And similar to Flannery, Winona was a sweep. Ice Beam was able to get a one-shot against most of her Pokemon, though I did have some issues when facing off against both Skarmory and Pelipper. Skarmory just kept spamming stun attacks, and that made it take too long to defeat him. He couldn't do much in return, so it was just a matter of time before he fell. The real issue came when Pelipper was sent, as his combo of Protect and Supersonic got annoying really fast. Add to that the misses from the lowered accuracy, and for a moment, I thought I was going to lose this fight. Thankfully, Mega Blastoise was able to land enough Ice Beams to defeat him before things got even more out of control. Maxi challenged me once again, this time in his hometown, but every single one of his Pokemon got one-shot by either Water Pulse or Ice Beam. Nothing else happened. Moving on. Now, while I go through all of the fights that are between defeating Maxi and reaching Teddy and Liza, which, let's be honest, they're never an issue, let's talk about the rest of Mega Blastoise's level up moveset and TMs he could learn. For level up moves, there's 2 that I'm sort of interested in, which are Hydro Pump and Rain Dance. And that's only because with Mega Blastoise's insanely high special attack, both of them could easily destroy most teams. Iron Defense could be useful in some fights, but with the physical and special splits, I'm not sure how much it can help. Even more so when Blastoise doesn't get access to any way of recovery. With the exception of Rest, but you know, it's a TM that everyone can learn, so... As for TMs, there's actually a few that I'm interested in. There's obviously Rain Dance, but there's also Brick Break, Earthquake, and Blizzard. Blizzard is locked behind an optional May fight, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get it. But Brick Break and especially Earthquake could help by hitting Ice and Water types. I get access to them a bit later, so I might teach one of them to replace Bite. Going into the Teddy and Liza fight, I had to bring one of the Pokemon I was using for HMs to the battle since I was forced to. I would recap the fight as usual, but it can be summarized as me just spamming Surf and Teddy and Liza trying their best to not get their gym flooded. Even when they used Sunny Day, Surf was still doing great amounts of damage. It got a bit close against Lunatone when Mega Blastoise hit himself in confusion and Surf wasn't a one-shot, even when the sun ran out. But the best I could do was to keep healing Lunatone, meaning that it was just a matter of time for me to win. Next was a double battle on the space station against Maxi and Tabitha with Steven, and it was not a problem. I wish I had more to say, but after defeating Ted and Liza, this fight is just way too easy in comparison. Surf just destroyed everything, including Steven's Pokemon since the move also hits allies. Last of the evil team fights is against Archie, and his only Pokemon that could resist my water moves was Sharpedo, and he got hit by a crit Surf, so he fainted. Nothing more to say. The final gym leader is Juan, and before the fight, I went ahead and replaced Pipe with Earthquake that I got right before Archie, and got back Water Pulse instead of Surf. Against Loftisc, Earthquake was barely not a one-shot, so he hit back with Sweet Kiss to confuse Mega Blastoise. We then went back and forth for a while, with Juan's Loftisc best attacking move being a weak flail, so it wasn't really an issue to defeat him. Then Wishcash was an easy 2-shot with Water Pulse, Groudon was an easy 1-shot thanks to a Confusion, and Celio was an easy 2-shot with Earthquake. For the Ace Kingdra, Ice Beam was unfortunately doing less than half, and as usual, Juan's Kingdra started setting up double teams. To avoid getting him to heal, I went for Rapid Spin, but he used Rest to get back to full HP. I tried going for Earthquake to see if it would do more damage, but it wasn't, so I was back to using Ice Beam as he kept going for double team. That's when something unexpected happened. Kingdra got frozen. He obviously couldn't use Rest to heal that, and Juan had Hyper Potions, not full restores, so I was free to attack as much as I wanted. Unfortunately, it didn't last long, thawing out after 3 turns. Thankfully, Mega Blastoise was able to land the final Ice Beam to defeat him before he had the chance to use Rest. Also, if you're wondering why the restart counter went up by 1, Celio got a turn 1 paralysis with Body Slam and Blastoise refused to move. The final fight before the league is Wally, and every single one of his Pokemon, with the exception of Gardevoir, were one-shots. Okay, it's been going pretty well thus far, excluding Watson, but I'm a bit worried about Wallace. I know from the regular Blastoise run that he can get to him somewhat easily, but had a really hard time against Wallace, being able to win with a lot of help from a held item. So without it, I'm not sure how well Mega Blastoise is going to do. I still have most rare candies left, so if Blastoise gets stuck, I at least have that to help me. Not to mention so many coverage moves. In the end, I went for Ice Beam for Drake and Sydney's grass types, Flash Cannon from the move reminder for Glacia, Water Pulse for a strong stab move, and Brick Break for Sydney and Glacia. Let's see if it's enough. First of the Elite Four is Sydney, and Mariana was a one-shot with Water Pulse, Cacturne was a one-shot with Ice Beam, Absol was a 2-shot with Water Pulse, Groudon was a 2-shot with Brick Break and a Water Pulse, and Shiftry was a one-shot with Ice Beam. Second of the Elite Four is Phoebe, and I had to be careful with the moves I used due to Dusclops' pressure making me use double the power points. It took me a bit, but I was able to defeat her while only taking a bit of damage from Confusion. After that, her first Bandit was a one-shot, and her second Dusclops was a 2-shot. Her second Bandit came out, and it took a bit longer just because I was being way too cautious by playing around Grudge, which wastes all of the power points of the move used to defeat the Pokemon. Finally for Sableye, he was an easy one-shot with Water Pulse. Third of the Elite Four is Glacia, and none of her Pokemon were one-shots with either Brick Break, Flash Cannon, or Water Pulse. So it was a closer fight than I would have liked, with the hell doing chip damage and being constantly hit. Thankfully, none of her Pokemon got a status condition on Mega Blastoise like Paralysis from Body Slam or Freeze from Blizzard, so it was another easy fight. Last of the Elite Four is Drake, and as you probably guessed, this was the easiest fight out of all of them. Ice Beam did great damage against all of Drake's Dragon types, with the exception of Kingdra, who was neutral to the move, but by using other moves to get him in range, he was an easy 3-shot. The only other important thing was that I got Hydro Pump to replace Flash Cannon. The extra firepower for my water move could be useful, since Wallace likes to go for Rain Dance at the start. Finally, it's the champion, Wallace, and as I said in the beginning, I'm not sure if I can win. His Ludicolo has access to Giga Drain, while my best move to hit him is Ice Beam. I'll try for a while, but from my knowledge from the regular Blastoise run, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I used Earthquake against Wailord, and it was honestly not doing that great. While I did that, he went for a Rain Dance, and taking advantage of that, I decided to switch to using Water Pulse, which got him to the red as he hit with Double Edge. He healed, and I hit him again with Water Pulse, getting him to half. He then swapped to Ludicolo for some reason, getting hit on entry and getting confused. He ended up hitting himself, so after 2 Ice Beams, I was surprisingly able to get past him. Wallace and Whiscash and Water Pulse did about half, while he went for an Amnesia. I tried going for Hydro Pump to see if even with the special defense boost I could defeat him, but he survived on a Saliver and hit back with a weak Earthquake. Wallace didn't heal though, so I KO'd him the next turn. Tentacruel was sent after and his Sludge Bomb didn't do much, as Earthquake was barely not a one-shot. He healed, but it looks like the move was arranged, as the next one defeated him. Gyarados came out and Ice Beam was doing okay damage. However, he went for Dragon Dance twice, and while I was just one hit away from defeating him, his Earthquake ended up knocking out Blastoise. I don't know why Wallace swapped Pokemon, but I don't think that's going to happen again, so it's time for Plan B. I had to go back to a save file I made before challenging the league, but that way I don't get to give any of the experience I gained. With that, I go back to Mobile and teach Blastoise Rollout, which should work great against Ludicolo, since Wailord is super bulky, allow me to build up enough to one-shot him. I try again, but I end up getting very awkward ranges against both Wailord and Ludicolo, being able to sometimes get past them, but with extremely low HP. I try to avoid it, but it looks like I'll have to use the rest of the rare candies. There's 17 of them throughout the Hoenn region, and only 2 are locked behind a trainer battle, so I gave myself 14 through the debug menu, since I already used 1 for Watson. I gave Blastoise a couple to see if I could get a better range against Wallace's Pokemon. It took me until getting to level funny number to get the ranges I needed, but eventually I got this run. With the attack boost, Wailord was now barely a 3-shot. It helped that I got a crit on my first attack, but with the recoil from Double Edge, I should have been fine either way. Ludicolo was a one-shot, so next was Whiscash, who, even though resisted Rollout, wasn't able to survive the 5th hit of 1. Tentacruel came out, but he was a one-shot with Earthquake, so next was Gyarados. Even with the Intimidate, Rollout was doing great damage, and since he kept spamming Dragon Dance instead of attacking, I went into Wallace's last Pokemon pretty healthy. My Milotic was last, and the Rollout was on its penultimate turn. I wasn't able to knock him out, but the only thing he did was attack with a weak Surf. So by landing the final Rollout, I was finally able to win against the champion. That league run wasn't that bad. I honestly had a more difficult time when I was getting back from getting Rollouts, but that was more of a matter of getting unlucky. I'm glad that it didn't take that many resets to win against them, even if the main reason for that was previous knowledge from when I did the regular Blastoise run. Now, as you probably know, the run is not over yet. There's still the secret post-game battle against Steven, which should be pretty straightforward for Mega Blastoise. In the end, I went for Rain Dance, Hydro Pump, Surf, and Ice Beam for the moveset. I went immediately for Rain Dance against Skarmory, and from previous attempts, I knew that he liked to go for spikes and sometimes Aerial Ace. I then hit him with the Ice Beam, getting him to about half, followed by Water Pulse for the knockout. I'll explain later why. For Cradily, Hydro Bomb did great damage as he countered with a Giga Drain that got Mega Blastoise below half. Thankfully, it didn't give him enough HP back so that he could survive a Water Pulse boosted by the rain. Aggron came out as the rain ended, and thanks to his ability Sturdy, Water Pulse wasn't able to defeat him. He missed his Thunder though, so it was just a matter of making Steven run out of potions before I defeated him. Also, the reason why I used Ice Beam on Skarmory was to waste one turn of the rain, which made it so that Aggron wasn't able to take advantage of it and land perfect accuracy Thunders. Metagross came out, and I decided to risk it and go for the Rain Dance. He hit with Earthquake, and it looks like I made the right call, as he wasn't able to KO me. I managed to land the Hydro Bomb, but unfortunately, even with the rain, I wasn't able to get a one-shot, so I lose. From the looks of it, I'll need to get past Skarmory at full HP, while also needing to land at least 2 attacks after setting up a Rain Dance against Metagross. I'm going to use the last rare candies I have and see if that gives Mega Blastoise enough bulk to be able to get that. I'm able to get back to Metagross, this time with double the HP I had last time, and I go for the Rain Dance once more, while his Earthquake drops Blastoise to 77 HP. My Water Pulse gets him to half after he hits his parry, and he hits with a Psychic that gets Blastoise to only 5 HP. So with one more attack, I defeat him. After that, both Claydol and Armaldo were obviously not a problem for Mega Blastoise, who used Water Pulse to defeat them, winning against Steven at last, with a total of 79 restarts, using all of the rare candies, and a total of 85 battles. with 2 of them being optional. I don't like that I had to use Ice Beam from the casino to win against Watson since it feels like cheating, but honestly, that was a pretty fun run. I still hate that Mega Launcher pushed so few moves that Mega Blastoise can use, with only one of them being obtainable in this game, but still, using a water type that didn't just use Surf was a refreshing experience. Also, it was pretty fun being able to spam water moves against Steven to win. If you saw the regular Blastoise run, it might seem weird that I'm praising Mega Blastoise considering it had to do more fights, but come on, this is the last of the Kanto starters. You know it's all downhill from here. Or what, do you think Alolan Raticate is going to do better than Charizard? But anyways, did I miss anything on the video? If you think so, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.